Past week of Michigan and Detroit sports has been a good one. More specifically, we've had March Madness to talk about, and there was a lot going on. It was madness. I think an all-time round of 32 if you look at the big picture. You got Michigan and Michigan State moving on. Tigers starting their regular season this week, opening day on Thursday. Red Wings and Pistons fighting some injuries as they get closer to that postseason push. Going to cover it all here today for Motown Monday number 2. And just want to talk about everything overall that's happening in Michigan and Detroit sports. We're going to start off with March Madness, like I just mentioned, and we're going to start off with that number 1 seed, the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan looked good. I don't think anybody else in the tournament looked as good as Michigan did. I think there were some teams that looked really good. Right now, I've got Alabama on the TV. They're looking really good. That's going to be Michigan's matchup. What's that line going to look like? I think Michigan, you can't pick against them right now. I think they're going to be an 8 to 9 point favorite, which is crazy considering the Alabama thrashing of Texas Tech right now. But you got to look at what they did to St. Louis. A St. Louis school, and what they did to Georgia. Unexpectedly so for someone who didn't get to watch as much mid-major basketball as I would have liked this season. St. Louis had an efficient offense. That St. Louis team was impressive. I didn't realize how much they could do outside of Avila. They were really good. They showed it against Georgia. They showed it against Michigan. If you watch that game from tip to the final buzzer, you saw a team that competed their tails off. They were so close with Michigan in every possession. But that Michigan team, man, someone on Twitter described it akin to that national championship football team where you hang with them, but they're just so much better in every aspect and in the margins. They don't let you gain any ground on them. And then next thing you know, you're down 23. That's what happened to St. Louis. I was super impressed with St. Louis. I think they were the best mid-major team in the country this season. But, man, that Michigan team is special. They are a wagon, and I don't see how you slow them down. This Alabama team is really good. They're going to score on Michigan. They're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to stop them. I don't know if I have Alabama staying within 15. This Michigan team is so good. Dusty May is so good. Yaxel Lendeborg is so good. The supporting cast is unbelievable. They show up with an unwavering confidence game in and game out. This Michigan team is going to win the whole thing. There's no two ways about it. Duke didn't look that great. Florida's bounced. Arizona's good. I think at this point you probably call them or Houston the second best team in the entire tournament. Houston looked really good. But that Michigan team, you can't pick against them right now. And they were the third most picked team in brackets going into the tournament. The Wolverines, I'm not picking against them. This is reminding me of that UConn team that absolutely coasted to a championship. The way they're just manhandling their opponents. Dusty May has them clicking. I think he hit the portal perfectly in the offseason, and you can see it every single time they play. Now, moving on to the other team in the conference, or the other team in the state, should I say. Michigan State looked great this weekend, too. Michigan State did exactly what they were supposed to do. They took care of North Dakota State. No scares there. Exactly what you expect of them. And then they actually beat Louisville in a way that you don't really expect of them. They turned the ball over a lot, but they managed to just keep them at an arm's distance for the most part. And that's a good Louisville team. That's a Louisville team that was picked to be upset by South Florida quite a bit. It was a popular upset pick. I think just due to how hot South Florida was coming in. But that Louisville team was very good analytically. Ranked very high in a lot of metrics. And Pat Kelsey's a very good coach. But Tom Izzo and that Michigan State team, despite the turnover margin, was still able to get Fears and company going. And man, when Fears has that offense going on all cylinders, they're going to be really tough to beat. I don't know if there's a more exciting matchup than Michigan State with Tom Izzo against UConn and Danny Hurley in the Sweet 16. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm super excited to see how those two get after it. Cohen Carr, that dude is, I don't know how you could argue there's a more exciting college basketball highlight reel to watch. It was circulating on Twitter going into the tournament, but he just added on to it against Louisville. If you don't get all the way back, that team is going to run down the floor on you. Michigan State likes to slow it down and play half-court defense, but they can push the pace. If Fears brings a few of those passes back to his bigs, doesn't overshoot them out to the baseline, Michigan State could have put up another 10 on Louisville. They just looked like a way better team. They're a very prepared team. And if anything, the turnover problem is going to wake them up going into the round of 16 against UConn. They're going to take care of the basketball. Fears is going to facilitate. I think Michigan State goes to the Elite Eight. Michigan State UConn is going to be a thriller, and Michigan State's going to move on. Where they go after that, I'll talk about with PK. We're going to wrap up all of the round of 32 together. We're going to talk about some of those round of 16 betting lines, what looks good. We're going to talk about the Michigan and Michigan State previews, and we're going to get into it when I get on a call with them. All right, now I have the first podcast guest in podcast history. I've got PK joining me.
Does the podcast
Zoom.
have a name yet?
I just call it, I'm going to start calling it Motown Mondays. We're going to start actually getting it out on Mondays.
Okay, sounds good.
But that's subject to change. To change. For now, it's Motown Mondays because it's mostly Detroit sports, except for when I'm going to go to you because you're not a Detroit fan.
No, but I am looking for a baseball team. So
former A's fan.
Yeah.
You are
left out to dry.
A Broncos fan.
Yep. Broncos, Warriors,
Chicago
bit of soccer
Blackhawks.
Here and there, and Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah.
Man United.
All over the place.
Big footy
Yep, Man
guy.
United.
Big footy guy.
Yeah. Rugby as well. Played rugby in college, so soft spot there.
When like the World Cup comes around or whatever.
Yeah, we're hosting not the next one, the one after that. So that'll be cool.
But then the Olympics too, for sevens.
Sevens action. Yep. And then obviously a St. Mary's Gales basketball fan.
If you had to pick a champion today, who's going to win it all?
It's Michigan.
Dude, they're a wagon.
I have them in my bracket too. I don't know why more people didn't pick them at the start of the tournament too. I guess Arizona.
I felt like I was going crazy when I said it on my first episode. I was like, I'm going to change up my champion and go with Michigan. And like I didn't do it because I was trying to pick a different team. I did it because I thought Michigan was the best team.
Yeah.
They were the third most picked team.
I also think, well, what happens is it's the conference tournament and people just weight that drastically with recency bias, you know? The last thing going into the tournament anyone saw was them lose to Purdue.
And Purdue's good.
And they are, yeah.
And Michigan didn't care about that game.
No. And
there was weird officiating.
Am I wrong, or did Florida lose the conference championship last year?
That's a good question. I don't know.
But I do think, like, it really doesn't matter, the conference tournament. It really doesn't.
Well, especially when it gets down to that Sunday game. Like, these guys are getting ready to travel.
Yeah.
Dusty May is more worried about what day they're going to fly to the location they're playing at than beating Purdue that day.
Yeah. One for Purdue, that shit mattered. Like,
it got them to a 2-line. Like,
yeah.
Who knows if we see them in the Sweet 16 if it's not for that win?
True. Yeah.
So I think that was pretty big too. I got Michigan. They're a wagon. I mean, what they did to St. Louis, I was just saying it before I called you. It's unreal.
Yeah, and St. Louis was good. Like, that's no, like, sleeper. They were a really decent team.
I mean, if St. Louis draws a different 1 seed, we're looking at another story. Duke would have struggled.
Bro, if Iowa beats a 1 seed, come on, man.
I mean, St. Louis and Iowa are very similar teams.
Yeah, but I think it's Michigan or Arizona. Duke is a little bit injured and hasn't looked crazy good. Obviously, that Siena game was way too close, but they are the third team. Duke is.
And this is, while it's fun to pick those lines, it's also more about what we think is going to happen overall.
Mm-hmm.
So first things first, I already took a look at it. I already guessed a 9-point spread.
I don't
Michigan,
hate that.
Bama. Whose line is it anyway? Courtesy of Pardon My Take.
I have not looked. I think it might be closer than you think. I think it might be like 4.5.
4.5.
Maybe 6.5.
It's
6.5. Damn.
10.5.
So I mean, I guess we feel better about how high we are on Michigan.
I mean, that's what I thought the spread was going to be.
Texas Tech's obviously without their best player, but they were never in that game.
Not at all. But Texas Tech was also still good in the Big 12
Good.
tournament until
Correct.
Houston, until they played Houston,
Correct. Yeah.
right? Or was it Arizona? I don't know.
It doesn't
Either way,
matter. Both those teams are awesome.
those two teams in the Big 12.
We
I mean,
completely
Iowa
forgot
State's good
Houston.
too, but Iowa State's got an injury now too.
We completely forgot about Houston when we are talking about people that could win it. Like you might look at Houston better than you might look at Duke as of right now, the way they're
Yeah,
playing.
yeah. If they played each other right now, I'd take Houston. Did you see the Michigan Bama over under? Don't look if you haven't.
I have not.
What do you think it's at?
Well, we briefly talked about this before we were on here. It's a system over for me. I don't
For
care what
sure.
it is.
And I said what? I think it's going to be 100 to 80 in favor of
It's gonna be
Michigan.
it's
I
gonna
think
be
I'm
high
exaggerating
though.
a little bit, but I seriously think I would take like 92-81 on that spread.
It's gonna be high, dude.
Which actually, I just did this on accident. The number's 173 and a half. I just said 92-81. That's 173. That was like not even on purpose. I can't do math that quick.
Dude, that is so high.
But Alabama's not going to stop Michigan, and Alabama's going to shoot a lot.
Yeah, but they always have like a game where they just don't hit and they lose. Like that's how they get out every year.
But I mean, St.
But
Louis had a game where they were hitting, and Michigan still put it on them.
yeah, and this could be. I mean, even if they hit, they're still gonna lose in my opinion. Like so.
Do you think they can stay within the 10 and a half?
Yeah, yeah. Just because I just don't like huge spreads. Like I'm not. It's not huge, but I don't like big spreads this late. I know
I
it's
mean,
not
nine
that
and a half
late,
versus
but
10.5 in basketball is like a touchdown difference. Like
mhm.
that's like 6.5 versus 7.5. You know, like it's like,
Yeah,
are they going to win
yeah.
by double digits or not? Is a big difference. I
It
feel like.
feels like hard to say that they are gonna beat them that bad. That means they have control the last 8 minutes of the
But
game. Like,
like you said at the beginning, there's a reason it's that big.
yeah, I mean, well, that's what happened today. I had Arizona 11 and a half, and I was like, oh, I'm not hitting this. And then, 3 minutes to go, all of a sudden they just take control and win the game. Like, it's over. And it hits, they win by 12. So, like, I got lucky, obviously, but that's what these good teams do. So, I
For
mean, it
sure.
could happen.
For sure. And then I want to take you to the other Michigan team, Michigan State. What do you think the line is with UConn if you haven't seen it already?
Um, Michigan State's probably favored, right? Barely.
The line is about what I would have guessed.
I think it's pretty even, though.
I would have said pick 'em.
Yeah.
I would have said pick 'em. And it's on here, it's saying -1.5. UConn is plus 100. Michigan State plus 1.5 is -122. Michigan State's plus 100 money line. UConn's -120. So UConn's got a
Huh.
slight edge, a
Huh.
very, very slight edge, though. What do you think happens in that one?
Who's got the better point guard, man?
It's probably Fears, right? It's Fears
It's
90% of the
easily
time.
Fears. It's easily
It's
Fears.
Fears 90% of the time. Sometimes he, like that game against Louisville, he had some of those passes go wayward,
Yeah. Yeah, but he's
but he
breaking
still
records, man.
facilitates enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love him.
I like Michigan
And
State. I like Michigan State a lot because one team that UConn struggled with this year was St. John's. And I can't
yep.
say much about St. John's and Michigan State like really lining up with each other. But what I can say is I know that
Coaching.
their coaching philosophies, coaching experience are very similar.
Yeah.
And I think that that defensive intensity only gets turned up even higher for Michigan State compared to. I mean, what St. John's does in the regular season is what Michigan State's going to do to you in the postseason.
Yeah. Well, and what I've heard from UConn fans all year is like this team just doesn't have it. Obviously, we're very well coached. We have a lot of experience. We're really good. They know what it takes to win a national championship, and a lot of them don't think they have it this year.
They don't have the
So,
most talented guys like they did for those 2 seasons.
right,
They have
right.
Caravan still. They have experience and they have like
Yeah,
really smart,
exactly.
heady players, but
That's what they were saying. Like this
they
is
don't
a
have a
smart, very
Hawkins. They
good
don't have a
basketball team.
Klingon. They don't have what they need.
Right. And I don't know why I'm just drawn to your best players have to like show out in March and if you have a guy like Fears, I love you. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
I could
I
see
like
them beating
Michigan
Duke.
State there as well. I don't. know if I'll like Michigan State against Duke.
Yeah,
Where would
I
you
mean,
be at with Michigan State Duke?
I picked them in my bracket to beat them, but I
Really?
mean,
I have Duke all the way, but Duke hasn't looked
Obviously
as good as
Duke
I
is.
expected them to.
I know it would be cool too to see Duke Michigan rematch in the
That'd be
championship.
awesome. Like a late
Yeah,
season non-con that you never get. That was awesome.
which was
And then
sick.
you get them
Yeah,
again in the Natty. That's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. I agree.
Well,
So
thank you for joining me for Motown Monday number 2.
yeah,
We'll talk
thanks for
again
having me.
after the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
See you, bro.
I just mentioned it with PK. Appreciate him joining me for the second episode of this podcast. I think McGonagall's gonna make the roster for sure now. Super fired up about that. He's looked even better since I talked about him last week. I still feel the same way I do about him winning Rookie of the Year. Recently saw Foolish Baseball talk about Trey Savage maybe having a little bit of a disappointing season, even though he previously was the AL Rookie of the Year favorite. I mean, there's a world where McGonagall has jumped him. Not quite. Still 5-1. Just behind you, Savage. Just ahead of Carter Jensen. But I'm excited. Seeing predictions saying McGonagall is going to lead the league in hits. Just having something young and exciting to look forward on this Tigers team is going to be great, because otherwise just competing to make the playoffs is going to get stale. And this team needs to make that jump to the next level. They just recently posted what that rotation is going to look like. I think that's a very competitive rotation. I don't think we're going to get as much out of Verlander as some might nostalgically hope for, as much as I do as well. But I'm also hoping for maybe a bounce back from Flaherty. Maybe an extended stay from Mize after finally being able to pitch through a season last year, being able to consistently do it this season and maybe into the postseason this time around, become a more trusted arm. I'd love to see the Tigers do really well there. The Pistons this week have the Lakers, Hawks, Pelicans, and T-Wolves. You got Atlanta and New Orleans at home. Those two have to be wins. At Minnesota's a good litmus test for where this team's going to be without Cade. You need Cade back, though. This team is obviously nothing without Cade. It's really tough. Them and the Red Wings are in similar positions, just not quite at the same spot in the standings. While the Pistons are trying to hold on to that 1 seed without Cade, the Red Wings trying to hold on to a playoff position in itself without Dylan Larkin. It feels even more brutal when you're watching the NBA and NHL due to how long their seasons are, to watch the star player of both teams go down and kind of just kill all momentum you had going into the playoffs. Cade is probably not even going to be eligible for All-NBA, and he was on track for first team. I've seen some people talk about the butterfly effect of maybe Duren having a better chance of making All-NBA, thus increasing his future contract extension, or his contract extension that would be coming up this offseason. And the next thing you know, we're overpaying Duren. I mean, talk about one of the all-time bad cursed franchise things that would be. If Duren ends up making more because Cade went down, which killed this season, which killed next season because now Duren's making too much, that would really hurt. And then you got the Red Wings who are fighting for their lives and the schedule's not getting much easier. The game at Buffalo on Friday is going to be an interesting one. It's the regular season and Buffalo's number 1 in the East. Right now, it looks like that could be a potential playoff preview if those two stay where they're at in the standings now, which is pretty exciting. I'd be down to watch Detroit play Buffalo for, it would probably be 5 games with the Sabres moving on, but if there was anybody you were going to somehow catch the edge on, it's a team that doesn't have much playoff experience. So maybe there's something there. Really a bummer, though, to see Larkin and Cunningham out as those 2 seasons head into the playoffs. We'll see how they fare this week without their stars. I think that's everything. Nothing much to touch on with the Lions. I am hoping the Tigers win the AL Central. That's what they should do. Skubal should be in the running for the AL Cy Young. I don't know how voter fatigue is going to affect Major League Baseball, but I would pick him today to win another Cy Young. I would hope Riley Green can keep up that offensive production with maybe a few less strikeouts this year. I'd like to see Torque continue to steadily improve into his prime. Hopefully we can still have some guys towards the back end of their career like a Javi Baez, maybe a Gleyber Torres, still continue to play the way they did last season. And then that team's going to need a deadline move. That team's going to need a deadline move for one more bat if that team's going to be a true World Series contender with the way the MLB is. But I expect that team to run away with the division this year. I expect some guys to be in the award hunts. And I'm super excited for baseball season to start. So that'll do it for the second Motown Monday. Covered March Madness, how fun that was. The big week coming up for Michigan and Michigan State. You got the Tigers starting their season this week. Hopefully Kevin McConnell gets a start on opening day. And then we've also got the Pistons and Red Wings limping into the postseason. Hopefully limping into the postseason if you're the Wings. And that'll do it. See you next week.